Hello and welcome to a special edition of our culture programme here on France 24. The 46th edition of the American Film Festival in Deauville wrapped up this weekend. It's been one of the first big cultural events to be held here in France since the COVID-19 lockdown was lifted. France 24's Genie Godula has been hosting this festival for the past 15 years and she joins us now from Deauville. Genie, this competition focuses very much on independent American films, and the awards ceremony has just come to an end where you are. Who were the big winners?
Hi, Tom. Hi, everyone. Well, the big winner here was the film The Nest, which is directed by Sean Durkin. That won 3 prizes tonight. It won the Grand Prix, which is the biggest prize here, but also the Jury Prize and the Critics Award. Now, this film, as I mentioned, directed by Sean Durkin, who also directed a film that got a lot of buzz 9 years ago in Cannes called Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene. In the years since then, Sean Durkin has mostly been a producer. He's produced 3 films that have been screened here in the Deauville competition over the years. So The Nest is just his second feature film as a director. It stars Jude Law and Carrie Coon, who you might know from the series The Leftovers. Jude Law plays an ambitious British businessman who decides to move his American wife and kids to the UK, but once they get there, things don't go quite as planned, turning this family drama into a thriller. The Nest is a remake of an Italian film, and here, though, it's been transported into England and the United States of the 1980s during the Reagan era, which gives an extra pop to the desperation of Jude Law's character to really make it. Let's take a look.
I paid our rent, I paid for Ben's school, I bought you a car, I bought you a horse, I paid for construction on your barn.
You're delusional.
I'll make money for us.
For us? It's not for us. It's so you can go to fancy parties and tell people we have horses.
For the first time in years, I feel worthwhile. I feel powerful.
You're a poor kid pretending to be rich. We don't have any friends here, we don't have any family. What does it matter so much to you?
Because I deserve this! And I deserve a lot more!
Well, that was a quick clip there of The Nest. But Genie, what other films have won big this year?
The Audience Award, Tom, which is always a big one here, that the people of Deauville vote for themselves. It went to a film called Uncle Frank. Uncle Frank is the second feature film from Alan Ball. Now, Alan Ball is a director who you might know better as a screenwriter because he won an Oscar for that movie American Beauty with Kevin Spacey several years ago. Alan Ball has also since created 2 hit TV shows, 6 Feet Under and also True Blood. So this now is his second feature film. Uncle Frank is part road movie, part coming out story. It's told from the point of view of a young teen girl who's telling the story of her uncle, the famous Uncle Frank, who's a gay man who lives very openly in the New York of the 1970s. But when he has to go back to his family in the southern United States, things get a bit more complicated and obviously difficult for him.
Now, Alan Ball, Genie, like many of the American directors, couldn't actually be in Deauville this year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But there was one prize winner who was there tonight.
Exactly. This is because she's British, so it might be an American film festival, but this is a young British director who won because she lives and works in New York City. Her name is Sabrina Doyle. Now, she won the Jury Prize for her first feature film called Lorelei. Lorelei is about a tough guy biker who gets out of prison and he meets up with his former girlfriend, who is now a single mom with 3 kids, but all she wants to do is get out of their poor town in Oregon and move to Los Angeles. We got a chance to talk to this young director, Sabrina Doyle, tonight, and don't be surprised, she may be British, but she speaks wonderful French, and she absolutely wanted to speak to us in French.
C'est un grand honneur. Je ne m'attendais pas qu'il y ait tellement de monde ici. Ça a réduit le cœur, vraiment. Je ne m'attendais pas à ça. Et on voit la passion pour le cinéma ici au Festival de Deauville. Et je suis très heureuse. C'est comme un rêve d'être ici.
The young director Sabrina Doyle there speaking to us just before she found out that she won the jury prize here in Deauville for her film Lorelei. Now, Lorelei shared that jury prize with another film called First Cow by an American director named Kelly Reichardt. Kelly Reichardt actually won the Grand Prix, the biggest prize here in Deauville in 2013 for Night Moves. Also, there was a new directing prize that was created this year by the smaller jury in Deauville called the Revelation Jury. This was for a film called The Assistant, directed by a woman named Kitty Green. So lots of female directors awarded here in Deauville this year.
There was even a special award given out to the jury president, the singer and actress Vanessa Paradis.
Exactly. Vanessa Paradis, maybe some of our viewers who are from outside of France only know of Vanessa Paradis as the woman who was the mother of Johnny Depp's children, but she actually has had an enormous career here in France. She received a special digital award from the National Archive Institute. Now, this is a bit of a strange award. It's not a trophy. It's actually a tablet that she gets that has every filmed image, every radio interview from her career. And there are really a lot of pictures because she started so young, first as a singer on a TV show when she was just 7 years old. It was a competition show. Then she went on to have her first single when she was 14 called Joe the Taxi, which I think actually had quite a bit of success in the UK. This is just the second time that this tablet award has been given here in Deauville after last year when French cinema icon Catherine Deneuve was awarded it here when she was president of the jury as well.
Now, early in the week in Deauville, Genie, another award was handed out to a director, Barbet Schroeder, who was there to receive it.
Right. Barbet Schroeder is a Swiss director born in Iran, but he has had a huge career here in France. He was one of the first Nouvelle Vague directors alongside Jean-Luc Godard. This special award, the 46th Festival Award, is given to a non-American filmmaker who's made a film in the U.S. Barbet Schroeder got this award not just for one film, but for all of his American career. He made 7 films in the U.S. during the 80s and 90s that were huge hits. You might remember Reversal of Fortune, that won an Oscar, a Best Actor Oscar, for Jeremy Irons. Also, Barbet Schroeder directed Barfly with Mickey Rourke, or Single White Female. It was cute when he went to accept his award. He said that when he was a little boy, the very first film he saw was the Disney animated film Bambi, and he cried so much coming out of that movie that his mother said to him, "Oh no, you must never do anything with the movies again because you're too sensitive." Well, it turns out, of course, that she was wrong because Barbet Schroeder went on to have this incredible career as a director. Our team got to meet up with him, and he talked a bit about which American films really influenced his career.
As a viewer, I was a devoted fan of American cinema. I think in the 1950s, I consider Hollywood of that era to be to cinema what Renaissance Venice was to painting. Hollywood was very important. When I got there much later, it was already in a period of decadence. The era of the blockbuster had arrived. But it remains for me something essential that America has brought to cinema.
Now, Genie, Deauville also opened its doors to 2 other festivals that were actually shut down by the COVID-19 pandemic.
They certainly were. The Cannes Film Festival in May couldn't be held outside with people as it usually is. However, it did screen 10 films here in Deauville, films that were in that selection, so lots of French stars were here. Also, the Annecy Film Festival is the biggest animation film festival in the world. It's screening 3 animated films this weekend to try and encourage young people to keep getting out and going to the movies. And Thomas, just before we go, I just wanted to show you guys a clip of a film that I really love from the competition this year. It's called Sophie Jones, directed by Jesse Barnes. It didn't win any prizes, but I think it definitely is worth checking out, about a young girl, 16, who loses her mother and tries to process her grief in any way she can. I'll leave you with that. Here's a look at Sophie Jones.
Believe in each word that you spoke. To believe in each word that you wrote. The few that you hold, the few that you hold.